And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, one of my favorite games that came out in 2012 was Escape, Curse of the Temple. Really like this game. It's actually pretty funny though. I play it with my kids every once in a while. I can manage to get them to play one game and then they run from the room because they get so stressed out from playing the game. That's okay, I guess. I just think I get stressed out a little bit playing it, but it's so much fun. I love that stress feeling of the boom, 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 boom that the soundtrack makes. Well, I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you already know how to play Escape. So today we're going to take a look at Escape Quest. This is expansion 2, at least a big expansion for Escape. Everything inside the box fits very easily into the main box along with the first expansion. So far, so good on that one. This one adds 2 basic modules. So we'll take a look at both modules and then we'll come back. The first module in this expansion involves treasure chambers. The game comes with 5 of them, and if you have the first expansion that has a treasure room, that also counts as one of these quest chambers that you have. So you're going to decide how many of these you want at the beginning of the game. You can use 1, 2, or 3 of them, and you'll put that many markers on this starting area where you keep your gems. You'll put those markers there. The more of these you use, obviously, the more difficult they are. You cannot escape until the number that you put there is off. So again, this can make the game much more difficult. Let's take a look here. This one here, basically, the way to defeat each one of these, by the way, you have to go to that spot and you have to defeat it, and then you can put this on it when you've defeated it, whatever the quest is, and when all 3 are on their spots, then you can escape. Of course, still taking the regular rules of getting gems off. But this one here, the Tree of Life, you have to heal the Tree of Life, and basically you have to spend twice as many golden masks as there are players. That can be difficult, but it's probably the easiest one of them all. This one here, which is the task chamber, when you get this one, you're going to place a pile of tasks on this one. And there's 6 tasks in general, but you're only going to put 4 of them on here. And when you get here, you turn it over and you do what this one says. So first you need, for example, 6 of the running token, 4 keys, 4 golden things, and then 3 running and 3 gold keys. You can see how this one's more difficult than the last one I showed you. Then there is the super duper duper fun mummy. Now, when the mummy shows up, what you're going to do is in the, let's say you have it set up like this, and actually it should probably be set up like this. Let's say this is how the maze, the temple is set up at this point in time. So the ghost starts here. Not a mummy chamber, I guess a ghost chamber, but it looks like a mummy chamber. Anyway, you need to herd the ghost back. So players are going to need to move to where the ghost is, and then they're going to need to spend 2 torches, and when they spend that, they push the ghost in that direction. And they need to keep spending 2 torches until they get the ghost to where it is, to where that ghost can finally lay to rest. So that requires you moving out of your way, and hopefully you don't find this chamber too far away from the starting one. Then we have one of the most annoying chambers in the world. When this one comes out, it's basically, you defeat it automatically. You put one of these here. Easy enough. However, there's these 3 gems that go on here. It adds 3 extra gems to your pile. The only way to get rid of these gems is to go into this spot to put them on here. And how do you put them on there? Why, by building rooms around it. So you're going to have to build rooms. Each time you put a room on one of the 3 sides, one of these comes off. That can be very difficult depending on the layout of the setup. So this is, I think, one of the more difficult ones. The most annoying one by far, though, is this one. When you go to this one, you have to sacrifice 2 dice for the rest of the game. Could be 1 player, could be 2 players, but we all know how irritating it is to lose a dice when the door's shut on us. Here you have to do them to accomplish one of your tasks. These add some fun, cool things to do. They're not very hard, but they do make the game more difficult. The other half of the module introduces characters, and they make them a lot easier. You're going to pick one of these 2 characters, and you get 2 tiles for that character. One of those tiles is a permanent ability. You have that one the rest of the game. The other one is a special ability that you can use, and every time the doors shut on the temple, when you use it, you flip it over. Every time the door's shut, you get it back. So you can use it a couple times over the course of the game. Now, this is the permanent one, by the way. This is the one that's temporary that you can use. Each of these has a different ability, and I'm going to show you the characters from my least favorite to my favorite. This is the Mentalist, and he always has the ability to spend 2 of the running gentlemen to go to any adjacent place. Okay, that's not so bad. And he can go through walls when he uses this one to go through a wall, which is a pretty neat ability. So he's not so bad. Then we have this lady here, the mechanic. She can use golden masks as keys, and she can use 2 keys to move to any place where anyone else is. Also a neat special ability. But we're getting better now. Let's get to the Muscle Man. Now, his special ability is not necessarily as cool as the other ones, maybe as useful, but it's just cool, where he can use 2 torches to rotate a room. And he has the permanent ability that all his torches always count as 2, which is very, 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 very useful. Then we have the Discoverer. She has a permanent ability, which is fantastic. When she's pulling tiles from the tile pile and discovering them, she can take one and put it on the bottom of the pile, and then she has to take the next one. And she can use this one-time ability where when she rolls 3 adventurers, she can move 4 spots, run really fast. Very useful. And if you have this, that's all she should do, is be the discoverer of the game. Then we have Doc. I like Doc. Doc has this cool ability, the permanent ability, where he can get rid of 3 black masks with a golden one, which, as we all know, if you played this game, is great. But even better, his one time, he can use 2 golden to get rid of all of someone else's black masks, no matter where they are. And in case with that one person stuck, like, and you're like, we got to go back and get them. No, we don't have to worry about it because Doc will take care of them. And then my favorite one is the Priest, mostly because he just doesn't care about black masks. If he has all 5 black masks, he can move his adventure to any place where someone else is, who then hopefully can help you get it from your black mask. So that's great. And his one-time ability is he can use 3 black masks to contribute 3 keys or 3 torches to get rid of a gem, and then you re-roll them. So that's very useful. The black masks are usually the Fist of Doom, but to the Priest, they're pretty cool. Interestingly enough, the original game came with a few modifications to the game, some alternative things that you could do. And then the first expansion had some more stuff that you could do. I would actually take the stuff from expansion 2 and use that more often than not than all that other stuff. The base game plus expansion 2 would be probably the first thing. First of all, when the stuff comes out, it's really easy to integrate. The characters are fun. Everyone likes to have their own special power. And they make the game a lot easier because you're giving everyone a special power. So then you throw in those adventure, the other half, and that increases the height. I would say if you're playing with the characters, to put in all 3 of those tiles because it seems to balance itself out pretty well. Sure, you can add in all the other stuff, the curses and things, and those are fine and interesting to add in, but I really like this one. This one added a lot without adding too much. I'm a huge fan of customized character special powers that you can have as a character. I think that's a really cool feature. So I really love that half of the game. And even though I rank them in orders, I'm sure other people would rank them differently. Maybe some people don't think the Priest is as useful and think the Mechanic is the best character, and that's cool. The quest ones are great. I wouldn't have minded seeing like 10 different quests, but you know, we play that. I kind of hope the ghost comes up because I think it's cool to move the ghost around. Although for my kids, it's like, the ghost. The game was already scary enough. Now there's a ghost. So I don't know. If you really like Escape and you're going to get an expansion, this is the one you should get first, really, I think. And then the other expansion's fine. I'd get them both, really. But this one adds a good chunk of replayability to the game and also gives you that cool thing of playing a specific character. So, in other words, good!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!